How's my hair? Okay, we're live. We're live once again from the South Central Construction Expo. That's a lot. That's a mouthful. Yeah, that's a mouthful. But so we're super excited about this because technically this is like the start of the roofing convention season for us. So it kind of gave us a little crash course for those that haven't set up with us before, and then a little reminder for those that have set up with us before. Our next big event would be RoofCon, which is October 23rd through the 25th. So we kind of set up like a little mini version of what is going to happen or take place in Orlando in October 23rd through the 25th. My days are running together. But before I forget, man, we've not been doing a very good job on plugging our Swing for Recovery, which is a charitable golf outing that we're hosting, our first annual golf outing for Roofers in Recovery nonprofit, 501c. Erico, Paul Reed, Kimberly Reed, those guys, great group of people that started Roofers in Recovery. And we got involved with them probably 3 years ago, donated money each year. The team has pulled together. Brian Bonghit and a couple of us have always, pulled something together as far as, doing a roof or something like that. And this year we decided not to do a roof. So we didn't participate in the actual National Roofers and Recovery Day this year. There was a lot going on. I don't even know what happened. So we decided to expand our horizons a little bit and throw a golf event. So I'm pretty excited about that. So if you don't have the information about that, maybe Vic can put it in the link for the golf outing. We're still looking for foursomes and still looking for sponsorship. So check it out. Anyhow, to my left, Brian Good, sales manager, TC Backer Construction, and we have Chayton. And Chayton, little backstory on Chayton is Perry and America's son. And Perry, those of you that know us well, Perry is our oldest, not just oldest, but longest team member who's been with TC Backer pretty much since day one. Perry used to meet me at my house in the morning, and my office was in the kitchen or either in the kitchen or in the living room. And Perry would come over 2-3 days a week and, help me kind of, I don't know what that was, Vic. No good. But anyhow, lost my train of thought for a second.
He met you in the kitchen.
Yeah, every morning he'd meet me on the front porch. I'd let him in the house and be like, "Hey, man, I'm going to probably be gone all day." But anyhow, clerically, he would keep things organized for me during the day. He'd check over invoices and the same stuff that we have going on now, just on a much smaller scale. And because I'd work 10, 12, 11 hours a day, and then I have to come home and work another 4 to 6 hours, creating estimates and, paying bills and just the regular clerical stuff that needs to take place. But anyhow, long story short, Chayton is Perry's son. And Chayton has come to work for us, like 2 years ago now already?
I'd say it's more like 3.
Has it been 3 years? You're coming up on a 3-year anniversary. So Chayton's 20 years old now. So I guess basically by law, when you were capable of coming to work for us, you did. And not to toot my own horn or anything, but that has to say a lot about the quality of the company. And nowadays, like, the company's not even remotely close to being just me today. It's the Brian Goods of the world, the Glenn Orrs, the Corey Kings and the Victor Uris and everybody else, the Kims, the Sams, that's the face of the company today. And because of Perry, I'm going to give Perry a big plug here and a shout out to Perry. Because of Perry, we're still here today, right? Perry's kept me out of courtrooms. Perry's kept me out of jail. Neither one of us knew what we were really doing at the time. I had left another construction company that I managed, but I didn't know the behind the scenes and what it really took to operate and manage and run a business. You know what I mean? But I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. And Perry, I would kind of tell him what I think we were looking for, and Perry would kind of help develop it, whether it be through Excel spreadsheets. And I remember when we were looking at accounting software, we were like, man, what are we going to get? What are we going to do? Because we were just keeping track of everything on an Excel spreadsheet, which wasn't a bad idea, but it wasn't accounting software. So there was a company back in the day, and I'm glad we didn't go that direction, but it was the two most popular ones back then was Peachtree accounting software, and then QuickBooks just came on the scene. Literally just came on the scene. And my accountant at the time, and I don't even know why I went against his advice, but he suggested we go with a Peachtree. And for whatever reason, I decided not to. I think it looked too complicated for me at the time. Like there was just way too much stuff. And back then you'd have to buy a floppy disk, seriously, and like slide it into your disk drive and disk drive or whatever the hell it's called. And, download and put it on your computer. Long story short, QuickBooks actually came out with a disk, right? Like we went from floppy disk, like literally it was floppy, to a disk. So they had a disk, and the computers we had were kind of the latest and greatest technology at the time. So I don't even think our computer took floppy disk. So we chose to go with QuickBooks. Got it. Perry figured it out enough for us to both be dangerous with it. And then it was funny because how it evolved over time, like a couple months later, it would do an update, and then we could cut checks with it, which we thought we were pretty cool because I wasn't handwriting checks anymore,
right,
to pay bills and stuff like that. But big shout out to Perry, because really that was Perry's doings. Perry's working, because like I said, I was out selling jobs, doing the jobs, hiring, firing, recruiting, selling, marketing, branding the company. Long story short about, a lot of people ask us, and I won't take this thing hostage here, Brian. You might have some questions for me then. But so a lot of people ask, like, why is our website 321 Gutter Done? And I don't know if you know this story or not, but we chose to go with 321 Gutter Done because when we started out in business, not that the internet wasn't available or websites and stuff like that, but it just wasn't a popular thing to do. So we ran ads in the Yellow Book. Well, Yellow Book was going digital. We're like, oh wow, what's this thing? So this nice young lady came into our office, and she explained to us like what a website is, and URL, and all these other things, and backlinks, and all this stuff. And I was like kind of blowing my mind. So she was telling me like all about all of these keywords and how expensive keywords were. Like roofing was like $12 each time anybody like searched the word roof and went to our website, it would charge us $12. Siding was like $8. Windows was like $10, and gutters was like $3. And she suggested that whatever our website URL was going to be, like put the word in it that you want people to search. So I chose gutter. And I wanted it to be Gutter Done, but unfortunately that domain name was already taken, www.gutterdone.com. So, but 321 Gutter Done. So that's still our website today, www.321 Gutter Done. Now you can search us, www.tcbacker.com, but I couldn't afford the $12 search word, right? The keyword for roofing. So I thought if somebody was calling us for gutters, they probably need something else with their house, right? Soffit, fascia, the roof was probably, getting ready to be at the end of its life expectancy. So I thought just all I need to do, I just need the opportunity. Just call us and let me get in your house. Like I know I can inspect your property and find something else that, point something out that might be wrong with your house. So that's where, in case nobody knew why is your website www.321 Gutter Done? That's the true story. So then we found the phone number to 866-321 Gutter Done. It's actually 866-321 GUT, because there's too many letters versus numbers in our, but we still use the 866 number, 800 number, 321 Gutter Done. And I always envisioned like a jingle, 321 Gutter Done, and thought about franchising 321 Gutter Done and creating a gutter franchise, which is still one of my my goals and aspirations someday of like just like branching off into like you got your gutter guys and you got whatever other gutter companies out that are out there that are pretty big franchised gutter companies. And I always thought we could private label like our own gutter brands and gutter guards and stuff like that. And again, that's just something, if I could just find the right who, instead of trying to figure out how am I going to do this, I just need to find the who we're going to find to create the 3-2-1 Gutter Done franchise. So I'm just planting the seed there for you, Brian.
I'm on it. I hear you.
Right. So anyhow, getting back to, and this was all Perry helping me. Like I just was the visionary, and back then Perry was my integrator. Like I dreamed it, and Perry really helped make it come to fruition for us. So, you know, I know a lot of people probably pick on Perry and see me pick on Perry, and I say this is what you're going to look like when you've been here as long as Perry has, but that's just joke. Perry's been a ride or die, and he's always been one of those guys that if I called him at 3:00 in the morning and said that I killed somebody, his response to that would be, I know exactly where to put the body. You know what I mean? Like he's that guy. Not that that's ever happened. Wink, wink. But long story short, that was it. So Chayton, out of all this, somewhere Perry found the time to produce Chayton.
And it wasn't easy.
No, still isn't. Still isn't.
No.
So Chayton, what is the best thing about working here at TC Backer? Don't be shy.
I am shy.
Are you? What is it? Is it the fellowship, the camaraderie, the community events that we do, or is it just like you enjoy the people working that you work with?
Yeah, I just enjoy the people that I work with. You know, it's just sometimes it can get a little spicy, but other than that, we're all good. We're all family.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Now, did you know anything
No,
about construction prior to coming here?
no.
Okay. So in that facet, what has it done for you? Does it like help you become a man, a mature adult?
Yeah, a little more discipline in my life. You know, more of an adult, more responsibilities. You know.
Yeah.
And just yeah.
Good, because whether you know it or not, you're an example for that generation of people, right? I was going to call you a child, but you're no longer a child. I've known you since day one, and but I want you to know that this is much bigger than you. Okay, like you sitting on this podcast right now, stating that you've actually held down employment for 36 straight months. Okay, at the age 20, starting at age 17, right, making probably a pretty decent living for a 20-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Pretty much unlimited amount of hours that you can put in. You're making shit happen. Like you're paying bills. You got probably a cell phone bill you got to pay and all these other things, right? That wasn't necessarily handed to you. Yeah, we gave you the opportunity, but we gave you the opportunity to grow up, be a man, learn a skill, learn a trade, right? That is, you're going to use everything that you're learning forever, regardless if you stay here or not, right? Someday you're going to be a proud, happy homeowner, and hopefully we can help you do that and become a homeowner someday. And you're going to know how to work on your own house.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if you'll be here or not. Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. But I can tell you this: anybody that's ever come to work here, and when they leave, if they do leave, which our turnover rate isn't very, very high, are different. Right. And that's what we're trying to do. But you're a great example of what it is that we're trying to do here. Like whether we just gave you the opportunity or we give somebody a second chance at life for an opportunity, you know, to better themselves, better their families, better our community, you know, because at first I think when we all get started in something, it's like, it's about us. It's about us trying to better ourselves. But then we get to a place where our cup starts to overflow. Then we have enough to share with others. Right. And that's where I kind of am in the season of my life today. And you feel that when people come in and you train them up, you know, not that you have so much that you have enough to share, but you get that silver bullet where real success takes place. Isn't the amount of money in your bank account. It has nothing to do with that. A lot of people measure their success by financial gain, but that's not the case. Success is counted by the amount of people that you've impacted in your lifetime. That is your legacy. And I'm throwing that out there because a lot of people don't understand that. They think the size of your bank account is what makes you successful. I don't care about the money. I haven't cared about the money. Have I struggled? I've struggled my entire life to get above water, right? And I still do sometimes. I mean, inflation has infected all of us. My point is that what makes me happy and what makes me feel like I'm the wealthiest person in the world is watching you grow, watching Glenn blossom into the leader and where he came from, how he got here and where he's at today and the lifestyle that he lives. That's success. Vic, where he came from, the things that he's learning, the skills. He didn't come here with any of this. Okay. The abilities that he has now of editing videos. And I mean, literally, he's kicking out like 6 reels 10 minutes after we do a live. He didn't know that 3-4 years ago when he come to work here. Do you know what I mean? Like the opportunities, like we give people, you learn how to hang gutters. You're hanging out with Howie now. You couldn't be around a better master carpenter. You know what I mean? So in case anyone hasn't told you yet, like, dude, pay attention. That man might be a little old school, right? We don't have to go too far in the weeds on that. He's the old school, but I'm telling you, you're not going to learn more from anyone else in this building besides myself if I was still out in the field. But Howie smokes me when it comes to building this table that we're sitting at right now. Howie built this.
Really?
Yeah.
It was a nice table.
Yeah. Howie built this. Like he routed the edges, like he planed it down, he sanded it, he paint. I mean, he did it all. He did the whole thing. Put these pins. These are actual car pinstripes. Yeah. Yeah. He painted this. The desk, Skylar's desk, Amanda's desk, Kim's desk.
Practically that whole building.
Practically that whole building. So anyhow, I'm done running my mouth. Ben Bryan. Sorry, the bees.
The bees.
Where is Ben?
He's at the office, I believe.
What is he acting like he's working or something?
Working hard or hardly working.
I don't know.
He's
That's
probably
for him.
watching this right now.
He probably is.
Guarantee it.
Well, hopefully I just made him feel good because I called you, because I think half the time I call him Brian.
We're practically one and the same person at this point.
One and the same. Right. So, Brian, I guess I'm going to ask you the same question. And not to toot my own horn, I told a couple different people between the home show and events and stuff like this is one of the best recruiting places and re-recruiting. I call it re-recruiting people. Like this reminds you of why you love working here. Doing events, doing expos. What's that? Is he falling asleep?
Lazy eye.
Lazy eye. You got lazy eye?
Yeah.
Oh, is that what that is?
do.
Oh, I thought you were doing bong hits right before you came in. Are you sure? Okay. As long as you're not on the clock, I don't give a shit. Okay. Brian, not Ben. So Brian, let's go back to the beginning. Okay. So when you were recruited, what did you expect, I guess, when you came to work here? And then what does your perspective look like now?
That's a little difficult to answer. I can tell you at first, my expectations were this is going to be a job. I'm going to show up and I'm going to do what is expected to me. Whether that's just running my appointments, meeting homeowners, offering advice and solutions to the problems and going home. I can tell you I did not realize the depth of this company. And what I mean by that is you can walk through at any given time to any part of the office and there's just an overwhelming sense of camaraderie. It's tight knit. I know the finance department, they go out pretty regularly for like bowling. Like there's a lot of companies, especially smaller companies like ours, not that ours is small, but like the amount of people in the office at any given time is pretty small.
Yep.
That hold it down so heavily. Like even our sales team, there's a lot of interaction when there doesn't need to be. You know, there's times that we have guys that go out on canvas and instead of doing that alone, they'll kind of group up and do that together. So go back to your original question is I wasn't aware at the time how involved everybody would be with one another.
Okay. Yeah. And you can't describe that to somebody because half the time they wouldn't believe you anyhow. Something that you definitely have to experience. And we like to cash that check that our ass writes. But I think until you're here for like a month or so, something needs turned down to get your job. Do you have the speakers on out there? Okay, turn them down. So you can't really describe that. It was probably pretty difficult to describe what it is that you really get to experience here. Plus, most companies don't go on field trips. Right. And I call this kind of like a field trip where we can kind of pull everybody together. Like, please get in here. Like, not that I begged everyone to get in here, but it's like, yo, when you get a minute, come in,
Mhm.
support Lori at the South Central Pennsylvania's Expo. She needs our support. Plus, let's get Horizon down here. Let's get some notoriety for them. So we had a lot of their team down here help us set things up. And a lot of those guys are going to Orlando with us. A lot of us are going to Orlando to experience RoofCon and stuff like that. A lot of companies wish they could do that. I don't understand why they don't do more stuff like this with their teams. I mean, I'm not saying it didn't cost us anything to participate in this, but really the return that we're going to receive from, Gio, I'm sure is going to go home tonight and feel like he had a very productive, fulfilled
Mhm.
day. I'm sure you will too, even though you weren't at the office banging, grinding. I'm sure you were still taking care of business while you were here, but to get out and network with the community, because whether we know this or not, I'm going to point this out to everybody else too that might be listening on this, that is local listening to this right now. When you look around this room right now, what you see is our local economy.
Yeah.
In this building right now. You got York Builders Association, you got Garrity Glass, you got Gray Concrete, you got, I mean, the list goes on. You got Myers here, right? ABC's here. John H. Myers, USLBM is here. Like, this is the local economy. This is what makes our economy thrive in here. So why not get your company out of the office and network with the local economy, the people that are driving the economy, right? Which is pretty deep. If I mean, we could get really deep on that, and the impact that these individuals, owners, managers, leaders have on our local economy in here. Without these people, we wouldn't have an economy. We'd have no place to go. We couldn't buy materials. There would be no place we'd go to work. There's no place we'd be able to go to network with people. And because of the quality of companies that are in this building has changed the quality of our business. Make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyhow, Brian, so you enjoy it. I'm glad you're here. What is probably your most favorite part of working here?
Again, that's a good one. That's a tough one. My favorite part. I like to see the wins. From the team again, I am one of the sales managers, so we deal with a lot of different types of sales. But I think there's nothing that gets me more personally jacked than somebody hitting a big number when they didn't think it was going to happen. Me personally, like there's a couple jobs a couple guys have had pretty recently where it's like a $70,000 project, and walking into that, if you're first looking at that lead, they're like, oh, this is going to be a simple gutter job.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Even though I have nothing to do with it, and that doesn't benefit my pockets directly. Like to see that excitement build in their eyes again, and they get that fresh wind, and like, okay, let's go. Now I've got some momentum. Let's go after it and let's go get it. That's probably one of the things that I look for the most. That gives me the most joy.
Okay, that's good. I like that. That's a good response to that, because I can totally relate to that, and that's why you probably shouldn't cherry pick the lead.
Right?
That
you never know.
Yeah, because you never know. Did you watch any of that podcast yesterday with Jay Bradley?
I got like 2 minutes of it. I got 2 because I was door knocking.
Okay, you should really listen to it, and your team should really listen to it, because I thought of you 3/4 of that.
Good.
Based upon the conversations that we've been having here lately, like just like, I guess because he's a sales trainer, and the one question he asked like his sales teams or individuals is like, why do you do this?
Right.
Why do you want to do this so badly?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people answer that question is for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
So when they goof up, when they don't want to go knock doors, whether it's through the week or on a Saturday, or they reschedule an appointment or whatever the case might be, Jay said he pulls them in and asks them this question. He's like, remember when you told me why you do this? And they're like, they probably don't remember. Well, he reminds them that you told me you do this for your kids.
Mm-hmm.
So when you rescheduled that appointment, was that for your kids? When you didn't go knock doors on Saturday, did you do that for your kids? When you didn't go knock doors from 12 to 5 through the week, did you do that for your kids? And dude, like, he said it so much better than that. It like, it almost choked me up because it was like you couldn't get more real than that, right? Because I think the most of us have families now. Chayton, you better not be popping any kids out anytime soon. But I think the most of us sitting in this room right now, yes, we do this for our families, whether we got a family or not. You know, we need to take care of ourselves. And if you don't have a family, maybe your work family is your family. Okay, and that's why I show up every day. Okay, whatever that fire is, right? So supposedly these people, these salespeople that talk about their fuel to that fire is their family, their kids, their children, but yet they're the ones not producing, right? So I just thought I would throw that seed out to you. So maybe next time you're having a discussion with one of your team members, you know, ask them that question, like why do you want to provide? What are you providing for? Who? Right? And let them, so you can use that against them, you
When
know,
they're slipping up.
yeah, when they're slipping up, because you hit someone right in the gut with something like that, they may stop slipping.
Yeah.
But he said a whole lot more good, real good, because it definitely in the top 5 podcast.
Okay.
And it was in studio, live in studio. He come up here from Alabama, came the way up here from Alabama for no other reason but to come to the Beyond the ToolBelt studio. It was good. What else would you like to talk about? Does Gio want to get in here? You want to get in? You want to get in here, Gio?
You said no.
Right. I got a good one for you.
Yeah, okay.
What does preparation for you look like for RoofCon?
What does preparation?
I noticed that you are a keynote speaker.
Yes.
So that behind bringing everything it takes for behind the tool belt, getting set up, speaking, what does it look like for you?
What a lot of it's mental.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not that there's not physical stuff, and I can tell you this: what I've learned over the years of doing this, right, is a lot of it has to do with taking care of myself personally, right? Because doing just RoofCon in itself, or traveling, or anything like that, has a lot. It takes a toll physically, not just physically, but mentally. So I've learned to really start taking care of my body better. Okay, so it starts with, you know, eating healthier, working out. I've worked out every single day since the last Fearless 44. I don't even know when that was, but I have not missed a day. So I've been on a mission since then to prepare myself. This is a great question. To prepare myself, because RoofCon is probably the biggest event that we'll do all season long, probably the longest one. And there's a lot of hours that I'll be standing talking to people. I'll be standing on my feet. And then, like you said, I'm doing a keynote breakout. And so the topic that I'm discussing, I've been studying for quite a while, but I'm sharpening up on my skills a little bit on, it's going to be on networking, referrals, brand, and marketing. I'm going to try to take the crowd on a journey of how we did it right from day one, when I started networking and getting leads from word of mouth, and then referrals, and then creating the brand. Right. And then once we created a brand, we had something to market, because if you don't have a brand, what are you marketing? Right. You know, so I'm going to take them on that journey. So this is the first year I'm doing an actual PowerPoint presentation. Normally I get up there and I speak, and I tend to kind of go down a few different rabbit holes, and the next thing you know, 45 minutes is up. So this year I've elected to do a PowerPoint to try to keep me on track and take everybody on a journey. And hopefully I can leave about 15 minutes at the end for a Q&A. So there's that part. There's the physical and mental part of it. And then each year we try to like step up our game. So we have a surprise this year. We're going to change some things up to make things just look a little bit different. That way, you know, because some people I think might actually go there to like see this. We get asked to go to different roofing conferences now because of this. Like they want us at their thing. I know April Hall, last couple of years, she's like, please, are you guys coming when the storm? I just got a note from those guys yesterday. Do you need the same size booth? Do you need something bigger? What can we do to help? You know what I mean? Like they're expecting us there. And that's kind of how we've narrowed it down to where we go. You know, if they're asking us to go, then we're coming back, because typically they're asking me to come speak as well. So Vic has been a huge help in that aspect of things, because the first, when we first started to get into this, I used to travel by myself and take just like one microphone and do the podcast from there by myself. I'd be operating the ATEM and all this stuff all by myself. And I wouldn't have time to prepare myself. It was just one thing right after another. Next thing you know, I had to jump up on the stage and I'd have to share my experience, strength, and hope with people. And it was grueling, right? I'd get home, man, and literally, and I'd have to go back to the grind, right? Catch back up on things like that. Well, what Vic has done for me is he's allowed me to focus more on taking care of better myself, because he knows that this is a lot of mental stuff that goes into this. Not that I'm afraid to get my hands dirty, but he chooses for me not to, and has respected what we're doing enough to be like, Ty, this is my job. That's your job over there.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Because we need you up on stage as sharp as you can possibly be. We don't need you burn out. We don't need you up all night. Like, you know what I mean? So Vic has really helped allow me to prepare myself for when we go on the road. And most places we go, Vic comes with me, even if we're just bringing a microphone and stuff like that, because he knows that I don't need to be worrying about this stuff, because there's already enough. Like you said, I need to stay sharp, and I need to stay motivated, and I need to stay popping, right? I need that energy when I'm up on stage. I can't be up there like a wet rag. Like, yeah,
right.
This is kind of how I did it. You know, it was rough at first, but you know, I just stayed consistent after a couple bong hits. You know, really. No, I'm just kidding. Notice I looked at you. But no. So I need to stay uppy. I mean, like, yeah, I'm fucking kicking ass. Let's go. You know what I mean? So he's really helped me stay jacked up, stay in shape, and mentally and physically, because anything that we do starts here first, right? If I can't take care of myself, I can't take care of anything else. And if I am, now I'm just playing the martyr. I'd be able to take care of myself if I didn't have to take care of you all the time. Nah, it's bullshit. Okay. That's the selfish part of this thing. It's like, if I can't eat, I can't feed. Right. So I got to take care of myself. And it's a great question. You know, that's what I do. I mean, there's more that kind of goes into it. Like I read every day. I read 2 books first thing in the morning. Out of 2 books every morning, I listen to podcasts all day. Anytime I'm in my truck, anywhere I got to travel, anything I got to do, I'm utilizing that time. When we fly, if I have a 4-hour flight, I finish a book. There's no doubt. I'm not going to waste that time. Those 4 hours. Most people are sleeping. Most people are doing whatever. But I'm taking advantage. If I go for a walk, I like to walk outside. I got this nice little route. I'll listen to a book. I utilize that time. I keep notes. I journal a lot. I get out of my head on paper and see how crazy it is, because sometimes I got some pretty crazy thoughts. And after I write it out, it's like, you know what, that's not so crazy. That's a pretty good idea. I need to keep that idea. So I have in my phone what's called my why. And I've accumulated about 3 years worth of stuff of my why. That's probably about 3 books. And by journaling, okay, so journaling for me has been a huge thing. If I'm having an issue, this is one thing I've identified too by journaling, is if there's something wrong, there's something wrong with me. Okay. That's one thing I've identified, and nothing holds truer than that. Like, even though there's outside things happening, but outside things shouldn't affect how my inside feels, right? If I act out due to my environment, that means there's something wrong with me, not necessarily with my environment. If something's screwed up with my environment, I don't like it, makes me feel uncomfortable, I should have the opportunity to remove myself from that environment. So journaling. And then if I'm having an issue with an individual, okay, and this is a pretty good nugget here, I'll write out exactly what I want to say to that person. 2 reasons why I do that. One thing is so I can get it all out of my head, just dump it. Some of it's pretty far-fetched, because I'll have a whole entire conversation in my head, and I'll know exactly how it goes, and I know exactly where I'm going to punch them in the face. And I mean, I've already beat the shit out of them 3 ways to Tuesday in my head. So it doesn't get to that point. I'll write out exactly what I want to say to that person, no matter how dirty, grimy, or whatever it is. 1, I'm getting it out. 2, some of those bullet points I really need to express to them, so I don't forget when we do get to have that conversation, those highlights of things like, you made me feel this way, or you shouldn't have did this, or or don't forget stuff. You know what I mean? So it helps me weed out the stuff that I shouldn't say, but it also helps me remember the things that I do need to discuss with them that really bothers me. But it also helps me get it out of me. So then the way that I handle it's going to be much better. Because I've also identified by journaling too is that I can make any situation as worse as I want, or I can make it as good as I want. I'm not perfect at it, but I have definitely gotten better at it. So next time you're having an issue with an individual, you should write it down. Write it down, write down everything nasty, grimy, screaming shit thing that you want to say. Some of it cross out like, okay, thank God I unloaded that.
Ticking time bomb.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But then there's things you need to highlight in there that's like, okay, I can't forget. I need to bring this up because a lot of times when I do finally have that conversation, because I'll stuff it, I'll walk away till I cool off, but then it comes back around where I need to have that conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
I forget half the shit I needed to say.
Yep.
And then I walk away from that conversation unsettled anyhow. Like, damn it, I forgot to say that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of pointless. So now I'm still holding on to that.
Sure.
I'm still holding a grudge. That resentment builds and festers. And then the next little stupid thing they do, I lose my shit.
Right.
Because the first time that when I had the opportunity to finally get everything off my chest that needed to be dealt with, I didn't do it because I didn't write it down.
Right.
And I started that a couple years ago. Like I start having those conversations on paper that I think the way that conversation is going to go on paper. So that's one thing that I've kind of mentally helped myself with over the years of being a better leader on learning how to deal with shit, giving myself 10 minutes to write shit down.
Sure. Preparation
is a huge thing. Like do the 4-to-1 ratio. Okay. If it's an hour meeting, you should do 15 minutes preparation before any hour meeting. Now, based upon the severity of the meeting, sometimes you might need an hour to prepare yourself for an hour meeting.
Yeah.
It depends. So any meeting, any situation, like don't come into Monday trying to clean up the weekend stuff. Sunday night, you should take an hour or two Sunday night to plan your entire week out. You know what I mean? If you're doing that Monday, you're already a week behind schedule.
Right.
So prepare for anything and everything. Act as if you're already in that situation. Vic said that the other day to me. And I was like, that makes total sense. Like I need to act like we're at RoofCon right now. What do we need to take? What did I forget? What did I forget? Okay. I don't think I forgot anything. We're here. You know what I mean? Even though we have a couple weeks before we get there. So that's kind of how we try to live today. Anything else? Before? Good job, kid. Seriously. Thank you. Thank you for turning into the man that you're turning into today. You're a great example for every other 20-year-old out there right now.
Thank you.
There's not many nowadays that would come out here and sling a hammer.
No.
They're a dying breed. Especially what you said, 17? 17 when you started here?
Yeah, around 17. More towards 18.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's real good stuff.
I learned how to do gutter real good.
That was the
I
first
like
thing you
doing
were
gutter.
doing
Yeah,
was
I like
gutters.
doing gutter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're out there with Howie.
Yep.
You're gonna learn a lot.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. You'll learn a lot of patience and tolerance.
Patience. Where's Gio at? He'll
Yeah.
tell you.
Yeah. Gio.
It's his right hand man.
That's right. No, he knew. He got it right away. He was like, this dude I need to be with.
Yeah.
Gio knew that.
Mm-hmm.
He's a hell of a craftsman now. You know what I mean? And that's legacy. That's Howie's legacy.
Pouring in.
Yep. Pouring into people, man. So, all right, cool. Well, let's wrap this up. I think everyone else is tearing down around us. It is 4:41. So I think this thing was over at what, 4:30? Okay. 5? Okay. People are leaving already. 5 o'clock. Close enough, I guess. So cool. Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
You too. Bong hit. Keep it real, dude. All right.
Man.
Till next time. We'll see you probably what, Wednesday? Randy Bertado.
12:05.
Yeah. 12:05 Eastern Standard Time. Episode 250. 251. What is that? 4.89 years? Some shit like that. 4.89.
A long time.
Yeah. Redonkulous. I learned a lot. All right, man. That's it. See you guys.